Good morning and welcome to a rather desolate and windswept small river. This is the Warwickshire Stour, and this river has been in flood this week. It's just dropping off. I had a look on the gauge this morning and it's just dropping off to a nice level. So I've come out this morning, it's about 10:30 now, to beat the weather. It's supposed to chuck it down with rain all afternoon, and I'm sure that is going to put this river right back up again. It's pretty horrible at the moment. It's blowing absolute gale, 40-mile-an-hour winds. But conditions are good for this particular river today, hopefully anyway. We've had lots and lots of cold days coming up to today, and this is the first milder day, although it's really not very mild with this wind. It's about 8 degrees today. It was -1 yesterday at the same time. So, as I say, we'll come out to do a little bit in this river. Now, it's very coloured, so ledgering is going to be the way to go. I'm going to target a few slacks because from past experience in this river, I found the fish tend to get in the slacks when it's been right up, and it has been up about this level, looking at the all the debris on the bank. So it's been up another metre on this. Fish do tend to get in the slacks, and then what happens is they're sort of a bit reluctant to get back out of them again. So that being that, I'm going to bait up a few swims, just walking up the stretch. There's another one over here, you can probably see behind me there. The water comes in this way, hits our bank down here and runs off. There's a slack on that side over there, and there's a bit of a slack down here as well. So I'm going to prime a few spots. I've done one already. I'm going to do a few more as we go down the stretch, and then we'll fish them in rotation. All I'm going to do is throw in a little bit of stiffly mixed up mashed bread, and I've mixed in there a little bit of frenzied hemp with worm ground bait just to stiff it up even more, because you want this to get to the bottom. And what I'm going to do very carefully is just, as I say, bait up a few slacks. I can throw this in as the water's not moving around too much. Now, these are the conditions where I've had some nice roach from this river, so I'd love to catch a nice roach today, although we'll hopefully and probably catch some chub. But some nice roach would be good as well. As I say, I'm just going to put some of this in, and as I said, I'll mix this up very stiff, this mashed bread. So I'll link you in up there. I've did a video. I get asked quite often about how I mix up mashed bread and get it to different consistencies. So I'll link you into a video up there where I'll show you how to do that. Right, we'll have a wander down the stretch, bait up a few more spots, and then we'll get cracking. So I've only actually found one slack to bait up, aside from this one, which I knew was here. I normally fish a bit further along there in this swim. However, it's underwater, so we're going to have to fish from the top of the bank over here. But we'll get a bit of bait in, and then we'll go through the gear. There we go. That's plenty. I'll assume about 50% of what I'm throwing in is going to get washed off. Right, let's grab the gear. So, I've got a nice long landing net handle. So I thought it may be that we were fishing from the top of the bank in some of these swims. So bait wise, as we're fishing mashed bread, I'm going to fish bread on the hook, I think, primarily. I'm also going to perhaps use worms if we're struggling on bread. And I have also got some cheese paste if we fancy using that, if we're struggling perhaps and need a change of bait. I'd like to really concentrate on the bread and worms purely. As I say, it would be nice to catch a big roach. Now, gear wise, I've got my Stour Power Mesh 1.25 pound rod, GSBR LT 3000 reel there. I'll stick all the info and all the stuff down below. I've also got my standard running ledger rig on here, which I use for most of my fishing. It's nice and adjustable. Again, I'll direct you to a video up there and down in the description where I describe exactly how I tie this up. Right, let's try an ounce over there. I think an ounce should hold if we get this tip up. Just going to use some of these Preston plug-it feeders. I do like them. For fishing mashed bread. Unfortunately, the wind does keep dropping off and then picking up again. So it's not blowing constantly. It's supposed to be very windy. I was going to say a warm front's coming over. It's not exactly, doesn't exactly feel warm, I have to say. But yeah, warmer than it has been. Right, hopefully we can have a few fish. Like I say, love a nice roach. We'll get this over there in that bit of slack. Like that. Dunk. Right, cross your fingers and your toes. Get that rod nice and high. Keep all the line out of this fast water. Well, the fast water's under our feet here. We need to keep the line out going across there. So I've got 3 swims baited up, aside from this one. Obviously I didn't pre-bait this one. It's sort of at the top of the stretch. It just depends what sort of mood these fish are in. I mean, we may catch in every swim. We may not get a bite. We've got a big flush through of cold water, so things could be tricky. Hopefully you can see that rod tip up there. There are 1 or 2 swims I've not baited, which you could have a try in as well. But with this much water on, a lot of the sort of regular swims on this stretch are not looking ideal, really. Water's rattling through. I mean, it's not too bad. But I know from experience, probably better off targeting the slacks with this amount of water on. All right. Yeah, it's a tap. That was certainly a tap. Well, that's a good sign. Within sort of 5 minutes of casting in. Could well have been a small fish, but it was definitely a tap. That's not a small fish. There we go. Wow. Fantastic. Well, that's great. Oh, he's not very happy. Wonderful stuff. Try and get me the edge, of course. God, it's in really fast water. He's down there, if you can see. Not a bad fish for this stretch. Come on. Got him. Well, that's a cracking start, and that bodes well as well. Absolutely wonderful. Guy's like a block of ice. He's got a mouthful of mashed bread. Well, how's about that to warm you up on a cold winter's day? Absolutely fantastic. Oh, chuffed with that. Like I say, it bodes well as well. Fantastic. Right, that was so quick. We'll see if we can get another one out of here. We'll drop him in the edge there in this nice deep landing net. Hopefully you saw the bite as well. It was a proper bite. He was certainly after that bit of bread. Like I say, you've got a gullet full of this mashed bread ground bait as well. Well, it's usually 1 and out in this river. Usually get a bite in a swim and then no more, but you never know. It's worth 10 minutes. We can get our line untangled. Blimey. The Mary. There we go. Right. Oh, blimey, here comes the wind. Fab. Oh, that's brilliant. Really pleased with that. Right, sitting around in the cold and the wind. Worthwhile. Gosh, it's really blowing now. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can. Blimey. Very gusty. I say, we've got him in the net down here. He's absolutely fine. We'll just give it another 10 minutes. Just see if he's down there with his mate. as suspected, holding up in the slacks. Doesn't surprise me in here. They do get in the slacks, as I said, when it's high, and it has been, and they're not in a big rush to get out of them again. It did look a nice height on the local gauge, this river. I do take a lot of notice of the river level gauges. It's generally, not always, obviously there's other factors involved like temperature, but generally, river will fish at a certain level, it will fish well. And this one's certainly a case in point. It is a bit moody, it can be very difficult, but this sort of level, it's usually fairly good. I keep a note of it on my phone, and sort of where I fished and when I've had decent results from certain swims, certain rivers, certain heights. I don't keep a massive log of catches, but I certainly do take notice of good catches and the river height on that day. I brought the drone with me today, but I think if I sent that up, it'd just be off across that way. Unfortunately, at the moment, the Avon, near where I live, it's in the fields. Not particularly fishable, and I think with the rain that's due this afternoon, assuming it comes, I mean, you see the state of the sky, it's full of rain. If it does come, then it'll be up even higher. So that'll be off the cards. It'll be fishing the little rivers, I think, for a while. Perhaps we'll get down a Wye as well if we have a big dumping of relatively warm rain. As I say, yesterday, this time of the day, it was -1. Today it's 8. So, you know, there's a big difference there, and a big dumping of warm rain might have the barbel on sniff around. So we'll perhaps get to the Wye early next week. We'll just see exactly what transpires over the next sort of 48 hours, weather-wise. One very useful tip I picked up when fishing these rivers that are up and down is I've got a stop there, just one of these, it's actually a Drennan big gripper stop, just on the line, just a foot above the feeder, and that'll just collect any debris that's coming down, collect against that stop rather than down on the feeder and stop the feeder emptying. So a very useful little tip that, and it, you know, if there's no debris coming down, it's not a problem having it there. It's definitely worth sticking one on your ledger gear. It's just reminded me then when I was reeling in, there's some grass or something stuck on it. Just keeps it away from the pointy end, as it were. Right. Bit of depth in there. Right, that was a bang, wasn't it? Definite thump. Alright, it's gone round a bit as well. I think we've collected some debris, haven't we? Yeah, some debris collected on the line. That was a bite then for a second. We definitely had a thump. There's lots of little dace and roach and gudgeon and stuff in this river there, so could just be something small. There's another tap there. The small fish are in. It may be that there's no big ones down there. Alright, and again. There we go. What's this? It doesn't feel very chubby. If it is, it's a tiny one. Was it a nice dace? I can't tell. Oh, it's a dace, I think. I think it's a dace. Well, if that's a dace, it's a lovely one. It's a dace. No, he fooled me. It's a chublet. It didn't look quite the right colour to be a chub. Well, there he is, little chublet. As I say, I thought it was a dace for a minute. Now it's far too big. Right. He's still there, so we'll stick it out a bit longer. I'll get him down there. Sort of a bit of flow and a bit of slack altogether. Well, you wouldn't believe I'd fished this river recently and really been struggling. I'm fishing up the other end, sort of further up this stretch and different stretches. It's been really hard going, but clearly this flush through has done it good. And that's a bit tight in. Let's pull it out a bit. There we go. We'll have another 5 or 10 minutes though. Did seem like smaller fish bites. I thought perhaps it was a little roach or something chewing away at it. Very confident bites as well today, which tells me they're hungry, these fish. Which is good news. Now, as for bread and what bread to use, I know a lot of people don't use bread because it's, keeping it on the hook and they worry that it's going to come off. Or what you want to do is get yourself some Warburtons. This is the blue or the orange, it doesn't matter. White, we're talking. It's nice and doughy and it really stays on the hook. And I did do a video actually of how I put mine on. I'll stick a link up there and in the description if you want to go and have a look at that. Over on the Fishing Tips channel. Well, it is a cracking bait, even in really coloured water, as you can see here. When we've got, if I said 4 inches of visibility, 100 mil, I'd be exaggerating, I think. There's about that much of visibility in here. But I think why it works so well, especially with a feeder like this, is obviously you put a feeder with the mashed bread in, or you've thrown some mashed bread in, and it's all fluttering around in the current, and there's bits, big lumps and little lumps where I haven't mashed it up too much. Obviously there's big lumps, crust in it like that. And then, the fish home in on that because it's wafting about, and then there's your lump of bread flake on the bottom. They just hoover it up without a second thought. I'll put this frenzied hemp and worm ground bait in here, really just to stiffen it up a bit more. And I wanted a natural ground bait. I didn't want anything fish mealy. And just, of course, it gives it a little bit of extra smell as well. Well, I'm going to give it this one cast for 5 minutes. And I'm going to make a move. So I don't want to fish these other swims before this rain starts. Right, I'm going to call it a day there. I reckon that swim is good for another bite, but I reckon the swims we've baited are good for a bite as well. So I'm not going to stick around here. We've had 2 out of there. That's cracking. Well, 1.5. Right, we'll get them back. We'll have a move. There you go, chaps. Gone. Fab. Right. Let's get moved. We'll fish that slack over that side, which we baited up earlier on. Been attacked by grass. It's just starting to spit with rain, so it's come earlier than forecast. We'll stick it out for a bit. I don't fancy a soaking, but I'm pretty waterproofed up. The problem is today, I think the rain, as and when it comes, is going to be horizontal. It's going to be most unpleasant. I reckon we might do alright for a bite in here. Let's shorten that hook length down again. There we go. Right. Let's flick that over there. There we go. Right. Again, line up out the water. Watch the tip. Hopefully you can see the tip again. Alright. Might have just been the feeder moving. I haven't got a very heavy feeder on. I might need to up it. A 20 gram feeder on at the moment. I think we need a bigger one. Just trundling along, I think. Yeah, I think the wind and the bit of flow catching the line is pulling that out of position. Let's go with a heavier one. Well, I think we've probably give it long enough over there. A few rattly bites, a few funny pulls and taps, and nothing came of them. I think I might leave that for 10 minutes and come down here. There's another slack on the inside here, which I don't fish very often. And I have the occasional cast in there, so we'll give it a concerted effort today. Yeah, we'll have a cast over this side. And perhaps we'll go back over there on worm. Try a worm. We're quite well on worm, these little rivers in the past. See if there's anyone hanging about over there. A little flick. Right. More sort of standard ledgering. Got the flow coming along this way, along my bank here. So there's that sort of back eddy slack over there, and similar thing here. It was looking quite promising after that first swim. I thought we'd be getting lots and lots of bites, and I thought we'd get bites in every swim, and we certainly are, but seems not of anything of any size at the moment. Tap. And again, I can feel it. There we go. Pulling the rod. Pull the rod out of my hand. Cracking. Well, I think it's the first fish I've ever caught from this slack down here. If we get it in, hopefully we will. God, it's a bit precarious down here. He's trying to get in the edge. It's got us snagged up, I see. That's why it felt a bit funny. It's got us covered in some willow. Right. Yeah, we got a chub and a big stick. Come on. Well, we got him. Like I say, and a big stick. Oh, cracking. Well, that's a cracking fish from this stretch. Really pleased with that. Wonderful, and he's like a block of ice. Right, once again, we'll get him down here in the net. But first cast in that new part of the swim, it's gone straight away. And I'm sure you can see a bit of a pattern emerging, as you can see in swims where you've pre-baited, you know, offered first cast, and you'll have a fish. Alright, we'll get back out there if we can get untangled. There we go. Right. Hopefully he's down there with his big brother. Well, it's making the freezing cold wind and the drizzle worthwhile. Definitely a benefit to holding the rod as well. I mean, I'm sure you could see that bite on there, but I could feel it absolutely banging through the blank. Thump, 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 thump. You can't miss it. He's down there in that net. He's got plenty of room in that big deep mesh. Sure he's all right. There we go. Oh, that's cracking. 2 minutes in the right place. It's worth 15 minutes in the wrong place. Well, I say, I don't think I ever caught fish down here before. But, you know, more fool me for not fishing it more in the past. I think we'll have one more cast over there and then we'll have a move. Oh, it's stuck then. Oh, in another branch. Right, well, yeah, we'll have a cast over the other side, I think. And then we'll have a move. So I'm going to call it a day there. It's had sort of 2.5 hours up here, which has been very enjoyable, but the rain has set in now. It's coming and going, but it's getting heavier and heavier, so I'm going to call it a day, I think. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that. We've had some fish out, 3 fish out, and it's fished a lot better certainly than the last couple of times I've been up here on this river. So it's been a real struggle the last few times, but today we've got sort of rattles and taps in every single swim, and couple of half decent missed bites and 3 fish. So yeah, cracking. Anyway, I'm waffling. Time to go home. Now, I may well get out tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what I'll be doing if I do, because as I said, the Avon is quite high, but there's 1 or 2 spots that I might be able to do a little bit of fishing in, but we'll just suck it and see tomorrow. If not, we'll be out early next week. And again, it depends on the weather. I may well get down the Y, as I think I mentioned earlier, to do a little bit of barbel fishing if we get some warm in inverted commas, 8, 9, 10 degree rain, then I think it'd be worth doing. But all depends on the rivers and the weather. Just like to take the opportunity to say thank you to a chap called Steve. Steve is a new patron of the channels. He signed up through Patreon. So welcome on board, Steve. Thank you very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. It's really kind of you. And with that, all there is left to do is to say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling when you get out there. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support, and I'll see you all again very soon.